Most parents want their children to have a better life than they did, but what if the way you try to give them a better life actually makes them worse off financially? Chapter 7 of the Millionaire Next Door pulls no punches. It shows how different types of parental help shape adult children into either independent wealth builders or long-term dependents. In this video, we'll unpack the evidence, the stories, and the rules that let you help without harming. Welcome back. Today we translate Chapter 7 into clear decisions you can make as a parent, grandparent, or adult child. You'll learn who ends up self-sufficient, how recurring gifts change behavior, which forms of help actually improve lifetime outcomes, and a short practical family charter you can start writing in this video. I'll also show you a quick diagnostic, how much of your family's giving is productive versus consumptive, so you can protect both your legacy and your kids' future. Here is the core, uncomfortable finding. Across occupations and ages, the more cash adult children receive from parents while they're alive, the less wealth they accumulate on their own. That's not just anecdote. It's a statistically proven relationship the authors document in multiple tables and interviews. In short, repeated large gifts to adult children correlate with lower self-sufficiency. Why does this happen? Because money is not neutral. It changes incentives, habits, and expectations. Give someone repeated cash to maintain a high-status lifestyle and they learn to expect it. Give them a little structure and education instead, and you teach them how to produce for themselves. Economic outpatient care, EOC, is widespread among the affluent. The book's survey shows striking numbers. About 59% of affluent parents have assisted adult children in purchasing a home. 61% have made forgiveness loans that effectively act as recurring subsidies. 32% have funded graduate school, and 43% of the affluent with grandchildren pay for private school for those grandchildren. In short, large recurring parental transfers are common. And it's not trivial. More than 46% of affluent parents give at least $15,000 a year in EOC to adult children or grandchildren, and many do so for decades. These aren't birthday checks, they're sustained support programs. These transfers often come in lumps, coin or stamp collections, securities, a house down payment, or as ongoing annual gifts. The size and irregularity make them hard to budget around, and they often create consumption patterns the recipients cannot sustain on their own. The book uses stories to make this point vivid. Consider Mary and Lamar. They live an upper-middle-class lifestyle, private school, imported cars, social club memberships, but their earned income is modest. Why? Because Mary's mother underwrites the family. Down payments, mortgage payments, and periodic gifts. As a result, Mary and Lamar spend as though they were wealthier than they are. They don't save. They don't build a cushion. When the parental checks slow or stop, their consumption is at risk. Contrast that with Henry, a teacher who received some parental gifts but used them to invest. A deferred annuity, steady saving, modest lifestyle. Henry can retire comfortably. His brother Josh, who spent more of the parental gifts, is less secure financially despite similar backgrounds. The difference is how the money was used and the habits the parents reinforced. These stories illustrate a recurring truth. Giving money without structure frequently breeds dependency. Giving education, boundaries, and incentives is far likelier to produce independence. Cash is tempting because it's flexible and immediate, but that flexibility is exactly the problem. The authors identify several mechanisms by which cash erodes self-sufficiency. Consumption entrenchment, recipients upgrade lifestyle to match the subsidy. Once the lifestyle is in place, bigger house, private school, club dues, it's costly to reverse. Reduced initiative. If the downside of failure is cushioned, there's less pressure to innovate, hustle, or learn to manage money. The book's case studies show entrepreneurs who failed to take risks when they had a parental safety net. Expectation formation and sibling rivalry. Recurring gifts fuel expectations and family politics. Who deserves more? Who works harder? And often increase conflict rather than solve problems. Parental depletion. Parents who distribute too much before death reduce their own retirement security and the pool of wealth that could have been structured as productive transfers later. The net result, Cash gifts too often exchange long-term productivity for short-term consumption. The book isn't anti-help, it's anti-help that harms. The millionaires interviewed overwhelmingly value education. Tuition was the single most frequent gift they themselves received. Unlike recurring cash, education tends to increase lifetime earning capacity when paired with accountability. More effective forms of support the authors describe include tuition and skill investments, when parents fund education but pair it with expectations, grades, repayment plans, or performance milestones. Loans or matched savings, make a contribution contingent on the child saving a portion or repaying the loan. This preserves skin in the game. Seed capital with commitment. Fund business starts where the child also has personal, financial commitment and responsibilities. Fully financed ventures with zero risk for the child often underperform. Third-party structures, trusts, 529 accounts, or conditional bequests can direct funds toward desired outcomes without direct cash flow that fuels consumption. In short, help that builds capabilities, preserves incentives, and requires participation produces better economic outcomes. Another interesting pattern in the data: the children who are least economically successful often receive the most parental EOC and a larger share of inheritances. That's right, parents often spend more on children perceived as needy. The non-working daughters, temporarily unemployed sons, or lower-earning kids, which paradoxically increases inequality among siblings and can reward underperformance. The authors call this weakening the weak, an understandable impulse that often backfires. Meanwhile, more productive children, the future high accumulators, sometimes receive far less ongoing help. Why? Because parents assume they'll be fine. The unfortunate result: the most productive offspring get lower transfers, even though they're the ones most likely to multiply capital sensibly. That asymmetry drives family tension and reduces the total productive use of the family's capital. If you're a parent who wants to help without ruining your kids' futures, the book gives clear, practical rules you can adopt today. Here are the distilled rules. Use them as a family charter. Prefer education to consumption. Fund tuition or educational experiences that expand earning power. And then attach clear expectations, grades, internships, or repayment matching. Favor loans or matching grants over unconditional gifts. Structure assistance so the child has skin in the game. A partial loan, matched savings, or phased disbursements tied to milestones. Limit recurring subsidies. Set clear caps. No ongoing mortgage payments. No indefinite forgiveness loans. Define an annual EOC ceiling, e.g., no more than X per year, and stick to it. Avoid buying lifestyle for the child. Don't underwrite consumption. Cars, country club dues, and luxury goods should be earned or matched, not gifted routinely. Teach financial literacy and require participation. Make coaching, budgets, and consulting part of any assistance package. Help them learn to fish instead of feeding them. Use trust structures when necessary. If you want to protect capital from misuse, consider trust with conditions, spendthrift provisions, or professional trustees, but balance this with preserving motivation and autonomy. These are not cold rules, they're pragmatic ways to turn love into long-term flourishing. Burl and Susan are a useful model. They gave modest, equal cash gifts annually and helped with first home purchases, but they emphasized discipline, work ethic, and exposure to challenges. Their children didn't automatically become millionaires, most kids don't. But they developed resilient habits, and in some cases, eventually outperformed expectations. The lesson: modest, structured support combined with character formation often beats lavish, unconditional subsidies. Burl and Susan's approach also reduces estate conflict. Equal, scheduled small gifts plus a clear legacy plan avoid last-minute reprisals or sibling squabbles. Draft a 2-line family support charter now. Open a note and write, on A, 1 annual maximum EOC amount, e.g. X or Y, and B, 1 condition for future support, e.g. matching savings, proof of active job search, enrollment in an educational program. Share it with your partner. If you're giving to a child now, reframe one gift as a conditional grant or loan. Convert the next tuition check or business seed gift into a matched grant. You put up $1 for every $1 they save, or a repayable loan with reasonable terms. Tell them the reason and track it together. Run the opportunity cost lookup. Take the annual amount you give a child and compound it at a conservative 5 to 6% for 20 years. Show the growth. Would that money seeded into a retirement account or a child's 529 make a larger long-term difference? Use that visualization to guide choices. These 3 steps are small to write and huge over decades. Talking about money and families is awkward. The authors offer practical counsel. Ask permission before giving advice. Avoid boasting about wealth. Don't start with, "when I was your age." And remember, every child is an individual. A one-size solution rarely works. Use empathy plus structure. Explain that your goal is independence, not control, and emphasize that rules protect both the child and the family legacy. Also, resist the urge to play favorites publicly. Research shows differential giving inflames sibling rivalry and often amplifies inequality rather than correcting it. If you decide to help a child more, document why and how it's conditional. That transparency reduces conflict. Repeated cash gifts to adult children correlate with lower independent wealth accumulation. That's the central, evidence-backed finding. EOC is common and large. Many affluent parents subsidize mortgages, tuition, and living costs for decades. Teach skills, not consumption. Tuition, match savings, loans, and conditional support outperform open-ended cash. Put rules in writing. A simple family support charter, cap plus condition, dramatically improves outcomes and reduces conflict. Parents, what rule would you put in a family support charter? Kids and grown kids, what helped you most from your parents? Cash, coaching, or accountability? Drop 1 sentence in the comments. I'll read a few and summarize the patterns in the next video. Chapter 7 offers a powerful, sometimes uncomfortable lesson. Generosity without structure can harm the very people we love. But with a few rules, teach skills, require participation, and set limits, generosity becomes legacy. If you found this useful, like and subscribe. Next time we'll move into how millionaires plan estates and pass wealth responsibly. If you want the family support charter template, comment charter and I'll pin a starter you can adapt.